Did you know that nobody pays you for what you know? They pay you for what you do. Taking action is fundamental to building your business, and learning to do it well unlocks the power to create massive impact and feel lit up every day. I'm Jo Ingram, and here's where we go all out for getting the courage and conviction to follow our true purpose and join the tribe of action takers making it happen. How do you think you'll feel after you push through and you launch, you go live, you do something outside of your comfort zone? You're going to feel amazing afterwards, right? Wrong. That isn't the way that I felt at all. And in this episode, we're going to dive into what I'm calling the launch hangover truth, because you're led to believe it's going to be amazing, and yet it just did not live up to the hype. I recently launched my Messy Bun Boardroom program, which is a program for solopreneurs who need to level up their CEO selves to be strategic and intentional in their business. And I went live with webinars, and I felt fantastic about it. I spent so long writing these webinars and asking people what they really needed to see to have the best possible value. I was so excited to have lots of people show up, and I just presented my heart out. At the end of it, I felt like on this performance high, felt like, oh my God, I've done it. And people were like, oh, thank you so much. That was really great. It was everything I wanted to do about giving value and just helping people to really be able to do the best they can in their businesses. And then, of course, the webinars ended and nada. You know, if it were live, if we were, all together in a workshop room or maybe on a stage, then perhaps there'd have been a cocktail party afterwards, or maybe, just down the pub for a few beers. People would be like, oh, that was awesome. And you get that high. I imagine I've never performed as an actor, but I imagine that if you were in a sort of performance arts kind of state, you would have that real rush at the end of it. And me as an online entrepreneur, there wasn't any of that. You're just at home and you say goodbye on the Zoom and click, and you're just in your bedroom or the study or wherever you've set up your desk and has a good sound environment. And then suddenly this horror kicked in, this vulnerability of having made an offer at the end and said to people, if you liked this, then you could work with me further, and here's an opportunity. And as online entrepreneurs, any entrepreneurs, we have to make offers. If we don't make offers, we don't have a business, we just have a hobby, right? So getting over that icky feeling and making the offer is a really big thing to do. And, it doesn't feel that natural at first. And so having made this offer, suddenly I felt incredibly vulnerable afterwards. I thought, who am I to do this? Why would anyone really want to buy this? And literally all of these thoughts and these insecurities came rushing through me. I thought, I've made a big mistake. I doubted my offer. I doubted my pricing, even though I had been through this so many times in my own mind and with my accountability pod and my other business friends, testing, is this right? Suddenly all fell apart, and I just wanted to literally hide under the duvet and not come out until cart closed. In fact, for the few days that my cart was open, I just felt really, really low. Like my energy, my vibrations were low. I was going through all this stuff in my head, which was like, oh my God, with this low vibration, what am I telling the universe, right? Am I telling the universe that I don't really want to run this program, that nobody will come? All this stuff, this mindset stuff was going through my head. And the reason I really wanted to share this today is because I now understand that it is true that whenever we level up and push outside of our comfort zone, we get this awful anxiety and welling up of feelings of not being worthy of it, of not being good enough. Perhaps that's familiar to you too, as you are also pushing your boundaries and doing things outside of your comfort zone in your new businesses all the time. And now I know that there is this launch hangover, or this hangover effect, that after you do something outside your comfort zone, you just could plummet. You could feel that I'm just not good enough. All those feelings of insecurity well up. And now I know it, I can be prepared. And that's what I'm hoping to help you with today too. One of my mentors, Mariola Sharniak, says that there's such a thing as a pushback reflex. Catch her TED Talk, it's absolutely fantastic. And she tells us about the inner saboteur. It's the fact that we have these neuropathways of our subconscious that are there to keep us safe. And those pathways are so thick and wide because we've been doing it for so long. And they tell us, you're good just where you are. This is who you are. Don't try and change it. You're safest exactly here because this is what we're used to being. And in business, that can easily be, I'm a moderate earner, or I'm not that successful, I'm mediocre, I'm okay, but maybe you have some stories in your head that just tell you that you'll never be that 1%. You'll never be the successful entrepreneur. You'll never level up in these different ways. And that pushback reflex means that whenever we push those boundaries and we're ready to level up, suddenly we snap back to where we were before, because that's where our subconscious is most comfortable. And ultimately, we have to rewire our own subconscious. We have to manage the voice inside so we can literally push through and go to the next level. And this is the area that I was struggling with and that I was trying to overcome this pushback reflex and get over procrastination and fears and doubts. And ultimately, the happy end of the story is that people did book onto my program, and I launched it last month and it was fantastic. I'm loving running this program, and I've got some amazing feedback, and I know now that it was the right thing to do. And I'm so grateful that I did level up and make that offer and push myself outside of that comfort zone so I could serve in the way that lights me up, that gives me meaning, and most importantly, gives great value and helps others. And that's why we're here. That's why we are all heart-centered entrepreneurs trying to build our businesses the best way we can and to serve people in the way that only we can. And the second thing that I really realised about this launch day hangover is the fact that we need some support after we do something big, after we step outside our comfort zone. If you have friends who are launching or doing something big, make sure that you drop them a line the next day to see how they're doing. And similarly, if you yourself are about to launch or make your first offer or do some lives or all the other things that so many of us struggle with out of our comfort zones, then make sure that you put some support in place for yourself in the next day or so afterwards, and indeed immediately after, because you might find yourself feeling a little bit flat. And we all have these amazing friends within the business. We have our accountability pods. And if you don't, now's the time to listen to last week's episode and make sure that you really do get yourself an accountability partner or pod, or make sure that you're meeting with them regularly, because this is the time you really, really call on that support to lift you up and say, you are great. You have done so well for doing something outside your comfort zone. You've leveled up. Whatever the outcome of this, you will have so many more reserves within you that will help you grow and have the most successful outcomes in your future as an entrepreneur. And my final thought on this is, do not avoid the launch hangover, because it is the sign that you're leveling up. It's the idea that overwhelm is a gift, because it means that you're taking on more things that you can cope with, because the universe doesn't give us stuff that we can't deal with. And we just have to ride through it, level up, become the person we're supposed to be. I'm grateful for those few days of feeling low, because it really helped me understand the process that I'm going through and the process of growing and developing as the person that's running my new business, as a coach, as a mentor. And it's given me gratitude that I'm able to share that with you today. And also means that I will be reaching out next time to have one of my business besties giving me a call the next day and going, it's okay, you can come out. Don't hide under the duvet anymore. It's all good. So drop me a line if this resonates. I'd love to hear from you. Have an action-filled week. Speak soon. Bye now. I hope you enjoyed listening to Action Taker Tribe today. If you did, please subscribe and leave a review and share it with anybody else that might find it useful on their journey to successful entrepreneur.